Hi everyone, it's Katherine Skaggs, and I am here to bring a one card inspiration from the Mythical Goddess Tarot to you today, January 5th, 2021. We're still amidst the new beginnings with lots of changes from the last year, from our last cycles. And as I have been tuning in, I have been getting the guidance from this great goddess Uzume, who is a Shinto goddess, who's in the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck in the position of the Fool. And she is an appropriate card for us as we enter the new year. The Fool is the zero, it is the beginning, it is infinite possibility. And it's also a very interesting card. You know, in the old deck, in the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see the Fool as this guy with a knapsack over his shoulder, and he's literally stepping off over a hill or down a mountain where he tumbles all the way down to the bottom. And he's kind of like the idiot in a way, but he's also very protected. He gets up unscathed. And that is the traditional look at the Fool card. And it symbolizes new beginnings and innocence, and that we're protected as we begin anew, and that there's no concept of danger. It's all possibility. So when Sage Holloway, the author of the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck, came around and started to choose the goddesses for a divine feminine version of the tarot, in the 22 major arcana, she came up with this beautiful Shinto goddess, Uzume, who is the goddess of laughter and merriment in the Shinto tradition. Now, I can't share her without sharing her story. She is about lightness. She's about meeting creation, bringing everything into the light. And the way she does so is through her lightness, not taking things too seriously. She literally represents the sacred clown, as I refer to as the Hyoka medicine from a more Native American perspective in the Northern Americas. And that this symbolizes the one who is like the joker, the jester, the one who comes in to lighten up all the seriousness of those running things, like the chiefs and the heads of the tribe. Well, right now, if you look at our country in the United States, and probably around the world too, we have a lot of seriousness. We've got COVID still, we've got political unrest, and we've got conflict, like a civil war within the Republican Party and within the two parties, and people can't agree, and they're all so serious. And we're all very serious about our money, about our health, about our well being, and we need to lighten up. So Uzume's been speaking to me, and she's been telling me that we need to come into the light through humor and lightness, not to not pay attention or take responsibility, but to truly let go of how hard we've been working and how serious we've been and how right or wrong we need to be. So let me tell you a little bit about her story. And I can't tell her story and the profoundness of her power without telling the story of Amaterasu, who is the Shinto goddess that is a sun goddess, the most beautiful goddess of all the gods and goddesses. And she's the sun card in our deck. And she symbolizes the power of that light of the sun, of the heavenly realms, who causes growth wherever she goes. Beauty, growth, warmth. Everyone gets along. Everyone's so happy to be in the light. Well, one day, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, got into an argument with her brother, the storm god, and so she went into the cave and wouldn't come out. So think about this dark period of time that we've been in. It's like Amaterasu has gone in the cave and she won't come out. She's mad at her brother, the storm god. So imagine that there's been this deep place that we've had to traverse to go inside where it looks like all life is dying. And that's exactly what all the gods and goddesses thought. That when Amaterasu went into the cave, the world became dark and the plants began to die and there was no sun to nourish them or keep them warm. And so they gathered around a campfire and they built a fire and they began to lament. They basically were bitching and moaning and couldn't stand it because they couldn't get her out of the cave and they didn't know what to do. So as they cried and they pulled their hair out and they were just all too serious and in worry, they didn't trust, here comes Uzume, the goddess of laughter and mirth. Now she's quite an irreverent goddess too. She's quite well known because she can be quite foolish in the way that she can get people to lighten up. So she brings this huge drum and she sits right beside the campfire. And she looks around at everybody and all their silly worry. And she gets up on top of her big drum and she begins to do this wild and bawdy lewd striptease. Now she's taken off her clothes, she's showing her nakedness and all her special parts. And the gods and goddesses are appalled. And then they're absolutely entertained and they begin to laugh. And the more they laugh, the crazier she gets. And the more they laugh, the louder it is. They're crying and they forget all about their worries. And they're completely present with the tomfoolery and the lewdness and the irreverence that the sacred clown fool Uzume has, drawing them out of their darkness and bringing them back into their heart spaces to completely forget about the worries of the world. Now, not only is this laughter helping relieve them of their pain, but it's getting Amaterasu's attention. And so Amaterasu must come out of the cave. She can't stand being in there and not knowing what's going on. She's got a case of FOMO. So out she comes, she rolls the stone away, and back comes the light. And with that, be assured that if you will call on Uzume and your inner sacred clown to make light and merriment of your circumstances, to be a little bit irreverent, not cynical, but light-hearted, know that the worries and the darkness will shift and new light will come into your life. So if we can apply that singularly and collectively, this will support everything shifting for new growth and new light, and being able to let go of all our worries of the past so that we can come together into a new and expanded way that has a lightness of heart as we bring the light back within and all around. So I hope this story inspires you today to call upon Uzume as one to help you to navigate your new life with a lightness that clears the darkness. Again, it's Katherine Skaggs with the Mythical Goddess Tarot. I look forward to seeing you again.